Hello, this is a fiscal overview of the group startup meeting or GSUM meeting. Since we are a part of your contract throughout the life of your contract term, that it was beneficial to provide our role and also provide some technical assistance materials that'll aid you throughout the life of your contract. Our role is to provide a technical assistance materials to contractors for basic contract functions, to provide contractors with information that will impact eligibility, payments, and performance, to provide knowledge of payments within the ETP structure. And by no means are you supposed to memorize everything on the upcoming slides. These are meant to be used on a need-to-know basis. As I mentioned in the previous slide, when you're ready to do your enrollment for your contract, you'll need to enter a workplace location first, prior to enrolling any trainee. If you're a multiple employer contractor or a MEC, a certification statement is required prior to enrollment. The workplace location is created automatically by our system based on the certification statement information. There are video and PowerPoint guides that will show you step by step on how to enroll trainees. See the link below for how to enroll trainees in our system. Now that we understand enrollment, also understand the payments and the advancement payments, we can move on to managing and your training hours. There are user guides for entering hours and also user guides for editing and deleting hours if the need arises. See below for the reference guides on how to enter hours into our system based on the rosters and the record keeping that you are approved for in your contract. As we move along the timeline for your contract, we've done enrollment, we've added in the hours for your trainees, and now it's time for billing. When you get to that stage, come to this slide, use the reference guides and the video guides on how to assist yourself in billing for your trainees via an invoice in our system. When it comes to payments, you may choose to receive a one-time payment at the end of the trainee's retention period as an earned payment after final fiscal review. Payment 1 and Payment 2, or P1 or P2, will be paid for credit only, and the final payment will include all three payments as a lump sum. This option will help prevent any overpayments which must be paid back with interest if unearned. Progress payments are advancement unearned payments. By default, if you choose to do nothing, you will receive payments for any invoices submitted to ETP. Please advise your regional office contract analyst if you wish to receive only fully earned payments. This is a very helpful slide when it comes to payments and how we calculate your payments. ETP has 3 payments per trainee: Payment 1, Payment 2, and a final payment. If you ever have a question on how we calculated your Payment 1 and what Payment 1 means, come to this slide. It'll give you a good example of how we calculated your Payment 1, as well as how we calculated your Payment 2, and then also your final payment. It's all here based on a good example, and notice that the Payment 1 and the Payment 2 are both unearned payments, which you can choose to have be processed for credit only, and choose to get that paid at your final payment once we've done a final review of your trainee meeting all contract requirements. This is very important, so I will mention it. This is a professional employer organization, or a PEO, and this applies to you if you are a single employer. If you use a PEO and ETP was not aware of this during the development or started utilizing a PEO during the term of your contract, immediately notify your regional office contract analyst. Failure to do so may result in your contract not meeting requirements. This may cause an overpayment, and any funds advanced and not earned will need to be paid back to ETP with interest. One of the bigger PEOs, or professional employer organizations, are Paychecks. There are others that do the payroll and the employee relations for you. We just want to let you guys or advise you to let us know that if you do make this change, or if you are utilizing a PEO and we're not aware of this, please let us know so we can properly give you guys the next steps in getting those added to your contract or modified or amended. There are other circumstances that are applicable to single employers aside from the PEO. Change in ownership of the main contractor or adding affiliates not in your original contract during the term of the agreement, adding affiliates not in your original contract during the term of your agreement, and then adding a new facility with different ownership that is added to your contract after approval. The difference between adding affiliates not in your original contract is those affiliates existed while you were applying for the contract. You just chose not to include them for your contract and then decided that you would like to include them. The other is adding affiliates that you decided that weren't a part of your original umbrella during the development of your contract, but became a part of your entity after your contract was approved. Please let us know of any of these changes that occur within your contract, and if you are wishing that those entities also participate in your ETP agreement, we need to be made aware of these changes so we can properly amend and modify your contract to include these new affiliates so they can be eligible for reimbursement. If you are a multiple employer contract, this does apply to you. California Employer Account Number, or SEAN, is required for all participating employers for contractors with retrainees. Certification statements are required for all participating employers in a contract, and also please have all updated employer information for all your retrainees and your employers. This is a requirement when you are enrolling your trainees, and also a requirement when you are submitting your trainees for their final payment. We need to know which employers your trainees are working for and what is their post-hourly, post-retention wage, and all of that information is tied to a particular employer that you need a certification statement entered into our systems. This is also very important. This is fund transfer between job numbers. We made a recent change, or a change a couple years ago, regarding how fund transfers across job numbers occur. If you have multiple job numbers in your contract, for example, job 1 and job 2 or job 3, please make sure that you're monitoring how much training is occurring in each job. You will need to ensure that you make a modification if you are overutilizing one job and underutilizing another. A shifting of funds request is required for your contract in order for you to move funds from a job you are using to a job that you aren't using. And this slide will give you all the necessary information regarding fund transfers across job numbers. We will enforce this during your contract closeout. Please make sure that you are monitoring the training occurring. And we also have tools available on our website on your Cal eForce account profile that actively monitors how much of each job you're doing via performance, and you can see if a job number shifting of funds request is needed. As I mentioned earlier in our slides, there are aspects to your contract that are performance, and there are this is how you earn your payment. Performance is tied to retention. And retention of your trainees is after they complete their training. There are 3 main parts to retention. The trainee must be a full-time employee. ETP regulations define full-time as at least 35 hours a week. Your contract can have other specific requirements, but please follow those requirements in your contract. The trainee must be a full-time employee during the 90-day retention period, unless your contract qualifies for an alternative retention period. The trainee must earn the ETP post-retention wage required per contract for their specific job number. Please make sure that all of your retention requirements are met for your trainees. Please do not train part-time workers and hope that they become full-time. Please also don't train any workers that do not meet the ETP post-retention wage. And if you're in a territory where you think they'll be making the wage by the time they get to their retention, or they'll be full-time by the time they get to their retention period when they're done with their training. That is a risk. Some contractors do take that risk and end up training ineligible employees who we cannot reimburse you for. So please make sure you earn your payment. This is more information on earning your payment and what are some of the requirements that you can find in your contract. This is the post-retention wage section, which tells you exactly how much your trainees must be making post-retention. This is an example, but all the areas highlighted in the yellow color will be different based off of your contract. And also, if there are health benefit amount that you can add to the post-retention wage, that'll also be listed in your contract. Please follow these if you are in doubt, just to make sure that you are meeting these requirements for your employees so you can earn your payment.